Hello, everybody. Welcome to Walking Purpose. This is episode 9. For anybody that's new, for anybody that doesn't know, Walking Purpose is a podcast all about men talking about mental health, men talking about growth, men talking about their daily lives and struggles. Sometimes men laughing and joking and just feel free. Men breaking that stigma that men can talk about mental health, men can talk about depression, men can talk about suicide, men can express their emotions and still be strong in that process. Don't let no one tell you that's not the case. This is episode 9 of Walking Purpose. I am here with a great man who has a powerful story. You do not want to miss it. I am here with Leon Horton. Please feel free to introduce yourself, sir, and what you got going on currently.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? My name is Leon Horton. I'm from reside Detroit, Michigan, actually downtown Detroit, Michigan. So right now, I wish I can flip the camera. I got this beautiful, beautiful view, of the river and city towers and stuff. So basically, I moved downtown to really, restart my life from what happened to me in the fall. Currently, right now, I'm working on my own social platform concerning men's mental health called Man You Got This. You can find me on Instagram. You can find me on YouTube. You can find me on Facebook as a group. And basically what I'm doing is, I'm just sharing, my own personal perspective. I'm not a counselor, I'm not a therapist, but I'm just discussing from my own personal aspect and just trying to reach, someone, let them know that, it's okay for men to not be okay. We walk around, wearing these masks, these superhero capes, these superhero crowns, and not knowing, that we're tearing up in the inside, and that we don't have that platform. So that's why I started, Man, You Got This, and hopefully, I could take it a step further as far as a little nonprofit organization, and also what I'm looking at for the next project plan for the next 3 years is starting a house called, My Father's House, and which is a mentoring session center where young men, no matter what rage, age, or creed, can come in and just get a mentor. Hey, look, I'm having a hard time in school. I'm having a hard time in relationships. Where there's another man that's going to reach out and talk to them.
That is powerful, and especially from you being Detroit. My fiance is from Detroit, and we go there all the time.
Okay.
So we go there all the time. So if you ever need anything, as far as what you're doing, you definitely got a partner for life
Okay.
already. Yeah, I can
No
definitely tell
problem.
you that. And I love what you're doing, and I agree. Like the fact that men need to speak up. It takes a village of us coming together all around the world, just speaking up on mental health and speaking up on growth, pretty much. And I just commend you on just being honest and telling your story, brother.
Yeah. Yeah. Appreciate that, man.
Definitely, definitely. So, how you doing right now, currently, pretty much with this year and been kind of crazy. Like, what's your mind state, pretty much?
So right now, my mind state, man, I love hip hop. I'm an old school hip hop head.
Okay.
So right now, with all what's going on concerning, COVID, the unfortunately, social injustice, the political platform that's going on, I'll just go back to EPMD song, "You Got to Chill." So
Okay.
we just got to chill out. Also, like that scene from School Days, not School Days, Do the Right Thing, where Samuel Jackson was the disc jockey, and he said everyone just got to chill, just chill out. That's what we got to do. We got to chill out. So right now, like I said, on my rebuilding process, I'm learning how, to chill out. I'm learning how to sit back, relax. I'm not saying go with the flow, but I learned now how to observe things before I speak, and make sure that I get both sides of the story. Um, it's sad how things have turned out this year in 2020 concerning this pandemic, and hopefully, everyone gets opportunity to really, I guess, love their families, but also to, love you. I know a lot of people are in this situation alone, and one of the dangerous places being alone is inside your mind, because your mind can take you down to a rabbit hole where you never thought that you'd go to if you're sitting there alone. What I'm trying to get at, Craig, is that we need to, I guess, don't take life for granted.
Great.
No, we were brought here for a particular, purpose. Listening to, to your platform, man, you were brought here for a purpose. Listen to my platform, I was brought here for a purpose. So throughout this situation, it caused me, to rethink. It caused me to rethink, about the mistakes I made in my life and how to correct them. But also, too, I'm learning, Craig, man, I'm learning how to love myself because that was one thing I never did was I never, loved myself. I sacrificed, for my family. I sacrificed for everyone, but never sacrificed for myself. So it's only so much you can pour into a bottle in which it gets overflows, but sometimes it doesn't overflow back to you. You understand what I'm saying?
Agree. Yeah, I definitely understand. I
Yeah.
definitely understand just the aspect of like sometimes us as men, you want to be the leader pretty much, and you want to take time to pour into everybody else, fill their cup, and then next thing you know, your cup is empty,
Yeah.
exhausted from just pouring to everybody. And I feel like this is a perfect year to restart, pretty much.
Yeah.
Perfect year to just have that reset. I'm one of those people too, who's working 12 hours and 13 hours, and that's when God gave me this vision during a pandemic. So you never know how
Hmm.
life can take you. Just sit back and just be like, you know what? Let me just, like you just said, let me just chill. Let me observe certain things.
Right.
And having that free time just to grow is truly amazing.
Right. And it's funny thing is that this is not the first time, that we ever been in a pandemic. We've been through pandemics throughout the course of history, throughout, mankind. And not trying to, throw, religion in the aspect. But you gotta think about it. When God had flooded the earth, that was pandemic, right there. And things were reborn. The thing about it is that I think right now with our society, and this is my own personal opinion, Greg.
Yeah.
I, I think we got too settled and too stagnant because we classify freedom, a certain way. And the only freedom, that you can experience is that the freedom that you have, within yourself. We have so much, pent up emotion and so much pent up stress. It's that, we're kind of afraid, to let it loose and let it go. So I guess, further, when we talk, throughout the questions, that's where, counseling comes into place.
Yeah.
I was a person that frowned against counseling. Me, a black man, go to counseling, I don't need to talk to anybody about my feelings. Man, once I had my first counseling session, it was like a book that was open that was never open before.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That's so true. That's so true because like I think now it's more openly of black males and black females going to counseling. Back then it was going to therapy, which you crazy. You know,
Yep, exactly.
that was always the negative stigma. Like if anyone's listening, therapy is dope.
Yep.
Therapy can save your life. Therapy can give you different strategies that you didn't know existed. People listening to therapy is dope. Don't listen to the negativity about, oh, you crazy. That person that's saying that to you, don't listen to them.
Hmm.
Don't listen to them. Therapy is dope. Therapy can help you grow in so many ways. Therapy can save your life. Therapy can help you tell your story to somebody else.
Correct.
So always, I say this all the time, but I really truly believe in life. You're supposed to go through what you go through, give thanks for that growth, stay still alive, and extend that hand back in any kind of way that you possibly can.
Exactly.
So we're gonna get into it, right? It's pretty much, like I was saying, we've been communicating back and forth all week, and I was saying your story is truly powerful, and I'm asking you pretty much, and have you ever been through anything far as depression, suicide, or any negative setback in your life that kept you, that's feeling down pretty much?
Yeah, man, Craig, man, I've been through it. I can say, that I'm a cat with nine lives. As far as the things that I experienced coming up, in my years. Being a young black male, of course, you merely have that, that target, on your back. Growing up in an inner city, neighborhood, trying to stay away, from the neighborhood gangs, try to get, a good solid, education. And my course as far as like with mental illness, I don't want to, don't like to use the word illness. I call it awareness.
Okay.
Um, happened maybe like 25, 26 years ago when I lost my father. I lost my father at a stage of my life in which, I really, needed him. My parents was divorced when I was very young. Kind of like the classic, not classic, but typical young black male story. Parents divorced early age. So throughout that time frame, I've been trying to build, you know, a relationship with my father. He will, pick us up on the weekend, sometimes not pick us up on the weekend, but you still have that love.
Yeah.
So when my father died, he died of depression. He died of suicide, a drug-induced suicide. Um, that hurt me. That made me feel like, okay, did I do something, to drive him that way? So my first episode or my first attempt of suicide was like months after you passed. And, I just was hit like rock bottom. I never forget, I had drove to this little lake area in Detroit, and I was sitting at the edge of the Detroit River. I had a 380 automatic, and I had it to my head, pulled the trigger, gun never went off. Um, Fully loaded, clip was full, one in the chamber, pulled the trigger, gun never went off. So at that point, I say, you know what? There must be a purpose, for me. So fast forward, throughout the years, family, things like that. You got obligations. Then, as we talked earlier, we talk about, pouring out. You pour out so much that nothing is poured, into you. Then you start really thinking, that am I being taken for granted? Am I being, appreciated? But you keep on going because you're thinking, this is what I got to do. Then at that point, I think it was like one day I decided to um, jump off a pier. I went to a pier and I was just looking. I said, you know what? I can't do this no more. And so funny that it's like God has sent a police officer. So as I was sitting there at the pier, I said, I'm about to jump. But if anybody can come up and talk to me, I won't do it. Craig, like after I said that little statement, 5 minutes later, a police officer was just walking, just taking his little lunch break, and he saw me at the pier. And he asked me, hey, how's my day going? At that point, Craig, man, I just broke down, started crying to him and let him know, hey, you know what? I said, I'm glad, that you stopped here because if you didn't stop, I would have jumped and you would have had to, call someone to come retrieve me. So we sat and he called his station. Instead of, taking me in, like they normally do if someone, contemplating suicide, he sat down, he talked to me. He took himself offline and we sat and we talked like for 3 hours, share my story. He told me about some things that was going on inside his life. After 3 hours, man, we was able, to hug it out, exchange numbers, and we talk every now and then. My final bout was um, Thanksgiving week of last year, in which I emotionally just broke down. Last year was not a great year for me. I had a lot of stuff going on as far as career wise, um, relationship wise, financial wise, all the things that I guess sits inside our brains. That hey, I got to do this. So I went silent. Um, my family, couldn't reach me for a couple of days. I wasn't answering, the telephone. I wasn't responding to text messages to people. And to one day, I decided, you know what, I can't do this no more. I'm not going to go into great detail as far as, what I did or what happened. But at that point, I lost it and I was broken. But there was a savior that day, that saved me when I was in the process. Craig, I literally died for 1 minute. And it's freaky when you hear people say, well, I experienced death and I saw the light, things like that. Craig, I didn't see no light. All I saw was this darkness and cold. And like within a minute, someone, just revived me. But then too, I remember being put inside the EMS, um, fighting with the first responders as far as, let me go, just let me die. And then in the background, I'm hearing my family members, crying and screaming, what happened, what happened. So as I'm on route to the hospital, I'm still fighting with the paramedic crew. Um, they got me inside, the ER. They started strapping me down. Then I refused treatment, and the doctor was like, based upon your mental state, you cannot refuse statement. I mean, you cannot refuse treatment. So I was still yelling and hollering, I refuse treatment. Don't save me. Don't save me. Just let me go. Let me go. So at that point, they told me I have visitors in the lobby. I was like, I don't want to see anyone. I don't see any visitors, so on and so forth. At that point, I just cut myself off. Um, so then I allow, a family member to come in to talk to me. And they told me, that, you're going to be okay, you'll be all right. And Craig, I was still fighting it, still fighting it. Then what was a shining moment was my daughter came in. My daughter drove all the way from school, and the thing that she said to me was like, "Dad, I need you." And at that point, when she said, "I need you," all emotions and me just broke out pretty bad. So at that night, I agreed to be put into a mental institution. At that point, Greg, that was like one of the most humblest experience in my life. I felt like I was serving a life sentence. You know, um, I wish that on no one, but as long as you're getting help. I mean, I got there. I never forget, Greg. I had that hospital gown on, with your buttocks out, no socks, no clothes whatsoever. And so I had to wait for my family, to bring clothes for me. But I'm sitting there, I'm looking at people, banging their heads, against the wall, taking magic marker and, like putting it across their face. People, there for drugs, and you see them, coming off episodes. So I'm sitting there saying, "Is this it for me? Is this God? Is this it for me? Did I drive myself this way? Is this it?" So my family came and visited. They asked me, "What do I need?" I said, "You know what? I just need some clothes, a notepad, and a Bible." So throughout that course, I was there. I studied the Bible for those days, that I was there. I kept to myself. It's funny. I try to look at that as humorous. I said, okay, so I'm holding it down for the block. I'm in here holding it down for the block. I'm gonna sit here. I'm gonna be quiet. I'm gonna do my time. I'm gonna make my bed. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. Then I'm sitting there just looking at all the stuff that's going on. People being restrained for episodes. Then I had close contact like with the counselors there and the nurses, and they looked at me and they was like, "You're a pretty normal guy. Why are you here?" And back in my mind, it's like, I'm asking myself that question, why I'm here. But I sat there, I went through the therapy sessions. I led some of the therapy sessions that's there. By me having a Bible, a lot of people were coming to me, asking me questions about the Bible and stuff. So it was cool. Another funny part about it, like I said, I got to see humor into this. So when I was there, unfortunately, I was the only, African American male that was there. So while I was there, they treated me like I was Big Meech. So so when it was time for the TV room, when I went inside the TV room, they'll immediately get up give me the remote control and say, you can watch whatever you want. When it was meal time, they would come in. You can have my cake. You can have my orange. I was like, no, I don't need all that. All I want to do is sit here and just do my time.
Yeah.
So while I was there, it had me to, rethink, about my life. We think about, what, I need to get help. So after I left there, after a week or so, I went through intensive, counseling for about 6 weeks. I saw a counselor, and I saw a psychiatrist. Anything that has it's in it, I went to them, just to get some clarity. I never forget, when I went to my first counseling session, where I just broke down, and a person was like, "Well, tell me about your father." And I'm looking at the therapist, and I'm like, what does my father have to do about this? You know, we're here to discuss me. But when she started peeling back those layers of the onion, I found out things that I was suffering from youth that I just left built up inside. So just to go back to what we were saying earlier, Craig, it's healthy for us to go to counseling, because you can never know what little things that happen to you in your life cause a trigger that causes you to go off. So, any questions for me regarding that?
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. So what would you say to anybody who, let's say someone's listening to this podcast and probably going through the exact same thing you're going went through in the past and feel like it's hopeless? What would be your advice to them?
My advice to them is, well, of course, no, seek counseling, but seek someone that's going to listen to you, not give an opinion. Sometimes all it takes is just someone just to listen to you. Get yourself, a good, core group of men or whatever, that's going to stand behind you, that's going to support you. I mean, don't get yourself surrounded by, a group of men like, oh, dog, man, you crazy, man, just shake it up here, man. Take a sip of this Henny, man. You'll be good. Or, hit this L, you'll be straight, just walk it off. You don't need that. Hey, let's go to the club, look at all these females over there. Let's go get a room, take them back. You can smash them all. That'll get that off your mind. No, that's not it. You got to get yourself surrounded by a group of individuals that's going to support you by listening and say, hey, you know what? We're going to help you. I want to take you to therapy. I want to sit there, you know, with therapy with you to make sure, you're okay. It's funny, Craig, as we were talking, we, like I said, we put this mask on that everything is okay, and it's not okay, and we're afraid to express ourselves. There was this book that I read. Well, there was two books I read when I got out. One by Jason Wilson, guy from Detroit, called "Cry Like a Man." Good book, good book. He helped me out with that, and also an old book by T.D. Jakes called "Emotions," and where he's talking about that the emotions that we go through. And then there was, and me personally, I do lots of spiritual podcasts, and podcasts like yours with brothers, where we're talking about life. It's more than life to talk about basketball, stats, the latest cars. Man, we gotta start talking about our mind. Man, it is so much that we go through, especially what's happened this year as far as with the pandemic. Lots of us doesn't know how to cope with it. The social injustice that's going on. I mean, Craig, man, I still have triggered thoughts from my teenage years, as far as being thrown across a police car. It's funny, when I watch movies with my daughter, I'll show episodes, Menace to Society and Boys in the Hood, and I said, some of the stuff right here, I lived through this. I encountered some of this, and you got to think about it, Craig, man. This is a lot of stuff we have built up inside our mind, and that sometimes that we can't let go.
Yeah.
We can't let go. But just to answer your question, as far as a guy that's going through this right now, man, just seek help and ask for help, and don't be afraid. You're not a punk if you say, you know what, I need help.
That is, I agree with that 1,000,000%. Anyone that's listening, you're not a punk, you're not soft, you're not any of those negative statements if you talk about mental health. If you're just taking that first step to better your life, if you're taking that first step to reaching out to someone you trust, keyword is someone you trust, someone who's not going to judge you, someone who's not going to laugh at you, someone who's not going to spread rumors. Find someone you can talk to that your conversation won't leave those four walls of that door of that conversation. It's very important to realize that it's okay for us males to break the stigma. Whoever you are going through this, or recovering, or in that state of giving a hand back to that next person. Sometimes the person just want to vent, get off their chest. You know, I was
Right.
one of them. My best friend, and we first met, and I was just like, man, I'm going feeling like this, and and he's like, okay, all right. Now, one time, do you ever say, what's wrong with you in a negative way?
Hmm.
You know, he let me vent. He'll listen. You know, I'm like, okay, let's find a way to recover. Let's find outlets.
Right.
Get through this.
Positive outlets.
Positive outlets. You know, in your battle with depression, pretty much, have you ever used an outlet to recover, like anything as far as that?
I've so throughout my battles with depression, I met someone that helped me out tremendously. This person helped me to learn how to meditate. I'm like, what? Meditate? You know, what? Sit back for 5 minutes and not think about anything? You know,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
like, so I tried it. So it was like the first 2 minutes, man, you start thinking about that need the stove on. What about the iron? Okay, what I'm gonna
yeah.
eat today? So
Right.
just being uncomfortable, with your thoughts. But then when I started doing that, then I started listening to like meditation apps, from Google, YouTube. Then this person, she introduced me to I am affirmations.
Yeah,
So sit back. I've been listening to a lot of I am affirmations, but also I'm a very spiritual guy. So I listen to a lot of different pastoral messages that talk about anxiety and talk about depression, but also too, man. One of the outlets that I use, Craig, man, I use the Bible. The Bible tells lots of stories about great men who battled the depression and anxiety and stress. But you got to think about it, man. If you read the Bible, every dude in the Bible, every character in the Bible dealt with depression, dealt with anxiety and stress. Jesus, come on now. Jesus, couldn't get his boys to stay up with him, to pray. He came back, listen to them. You could stay up, for an hour, to watch me pray. And I'm about to go out here, for 40 days or 40 nights, and not knowing what's gonna happen after I come out. So yeah, I use those as my platform as far as like, spiritual reading, I am affirmations, um, looking at different podcasts, like yours and others, things that put, positive, inside me. But also too, man, those days, man, I gotta put in my classic hip hop though, man, just to get my mind right,
yeah,
so
yeah. That's amazing because I feel like in a way, like hip hop does get a negative stereotype, but there are certain artists, or certain songs you can listen to that puts you in that mindset of I'm going to recover. Uh,
yep,
Me personally, when I was going through depression, I was coming out of it. My favorite rapper is Eminem, and
okay,
one of the reasons why is that song "Not Afraid." And some reason, like I listened to that song when I was on the treadmill and I first started going to the gym, I first started to lose weight and get confidence. I played that song like 2 hours straight on the treadmill, and just like whoever listens to this and you feel like, oh, well, listen to, find your favorite artist,
yep,
something positive, you know, whether it's a positive message. There are some positive messages in hip hop, so
mm-hmm,
find the outlet. Okay, I'm not afraid. Okay, this sounds kind of good to me. Oh, wait a minute, I'm losing weight. I'm feeling comfortable. Is
right,
You never know how far that can go, pretty much.
right, like where that muscle come from?
Yeah, right. You're like, wait a minute. You start to flex and feeling good.
Right.
And
But you know what? Let me cut you off, Craig. But also, man, that's where you start, loving yourself.
yeah,
People think, loving yourself is vain. Oh, you're being vain, or you're being stuck up. No, what
no,
I'm doing is that, I'm trying to project something I want to attract. If I'm showing, that I'm loving myself, if someone can see that, I'm going to get that same thing, from them. It's like, of course, I love going to the barbershop, getting my beard trimmed, hair shaved, things like that. I have not got on to that mani pedi yet, situation, but I will. But the thing about it is that, you got to love, you got to learn how to love yourself and take care of yourself, because no one is going to do that for you unless it's you.
I agree. Like I agree with that 1,000,000%. You have to give yourself the greatest love. The most important love is how you feel yourself. If
Yep.
you're not loving yourself, you can't offer nobody nothing. Like you have to love yourself. You have to take time to and have that them self care moments. Whether it's getting a haircut, what's man, we got the barbershop, we feeling good. We like, wait a minute,
Right.
man, what? So
Right.
just having those self care moments and having those moments of loving yourself, treat
Right.
yourself,
It's like fun, like you said about the barbershop. We walking in, like with the hoodie on, baseball cap and
or
stuff,
the hat.
or the hat. Then once the barber, hook you up, then we walk out that door like Huggy Bear when he came out of jail from was it Superfly when he
uh,
came out.
yeah,
We shine and we flex and like, yeah, I feel good about myself. Yeah.
yeah, and that feels so good. Just to feel good about yourself is it's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with loving yourself. Nothing
Hmm.
wrong with just like what, I look good today. I look good every day.
Yeah.
And far as affirmations, I agree with that. Those I am statements are so powerful. Those I am statements help me. I got pictures on the wall right now, and just because even those moments, you might feel like crap, especially on Mondays.
Yeah.
Yeah, so especially when they like tomorrow, you're like, you know what? Oh, I am strong. Okay, all right, I am
Yeah.
handsome. Just having those auto suggesting moments, pretty much. So
Hmm.
when someone do comes, hey, you look handsome. You think, yeah, I know. That's what.
Right.
And
Right.
there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
It's unfortunate that us as people we take on negative statements faster than you positive.
Correct.
You
It's like,
know,
cause like you said, when you get a positive statement, you get shocked. Like, okay, what do you want? What is it? That you want. You told me I look good, I look handsome. Okay, what do you want? What is it
right,
you try
right,
to
right.
gain?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
You messing me, right? It's like
Right.
it's like we'll take the negative more over the positive.
hmm that's a true statement. I guess for me personally, I'm learning to own who I am,
Yeah.
own everything you're doing. A lot of times when somebody says, "Oh man, I love what you're doing," you be like, "Really? You?" Like, no, you're doing great at what you're doing. Own that. So I'm learning to own those statements. And then it's unfortunate when somebody something negative, you ready to jump on them.
Right.
You can get like five, you can get five compliments. You're handsome, you're smart, you're intelligent, all this. You can get one person like, man, you look like crap today.
Right. What do
Like,
you mean look like crap?
right.
Yeah, meet me at 3 o'clock. I'll show you how I feel like crap.
I'm gonna show you what crap is pretty much.
Yeah.
And this segment, this conversation pretty much goes into the self-love piece. If anyone's listening, let's talk about how important self-love is to you. The definition.
You know what? I just learned that, this year, and also to, a close, friend of mine how she explained it to me as far as like self-love. When you wake up in the morning, giving yourself, those positive affirmations,
Mm,
you drive that for the day, So I get up in the morning, make my bed, do my morning routine, as far as my meditation, listening to a little prayer or something, or even drop down on my knees, give big dude upstairs, the big ups, but then too, get prepped for the day and just keep on telling yourself, like, you know what? I look good. That barber, he did a good job on that
Yeah,
lineup. I said, I'm positive. I'm smelling good.
there you
I'm
go.
looking good. I'm going to be good today. And you got to keep that, throughout your whole entire mind. Because sometimes too, there's going to be things that's going to happen during that day that's going to, derail you. And once you let it derail you, what's going to happen is that you're just going to go down that rabbit hole. But self-love is the most important thing, because think about it is that, if you love yourself, then another person will know how to love you, because you're going to project it, that way. If you don't show, self-respect, to yourself, you know you're going to attract that person. It's funny thing, Craig, that you mentioned. I remember years and years ago, I was at a McDonald's restaurant, and there was this cashier. Man, she was gorgeous, just gorgeous. But when she opened her mouth, it was like nothing but a bunch of like garbage cans that
Oh,
fell out of her mouth, when she was talking. Then she was talking about, how, she can't find a good man, she's sick and tired of all her baby daddies and things like that. And I took it upon myself, I pulled her aside, I said, you know what? I said, I want to tell you something. I was like, you're a pretty young lady, but when you open your mouth, you're attracting, what you deserve.
mm,
So you're doing, going back to the Eddie Murphy Raw days when he's making fun of Bill Cosby, when Bill Cosby making fun of, you got all that filth come out of your mouth. That's what you're attracting. You're attracting, these guys. It's funny, by me, living downtown now, and I'm looking, at the state, of our youth, and how I don't recall, coming up, as a kid, when I kid, a young teen, reaching out to a young lady, calling her a B or a H, and she accepted that. She'll come like running over, like, that's acceptable. That's what comes back, to self-love. When I see young ladies, run to a guy, because he called her a B or a H, she's not loving herself. But also, too, if a guy is saying that to another female, you're not loving yourself either. You're not, because you're projecting, what you want.
yeah,
If you want, to attract someone, that's going to love you for you, then you have to portray that. If you portray, I'm hardcore, I don't care about this, I don't care about that. That's how your life's going to be. That's how it's going to be, and that's where I learned, as far as from my experience, when I was getting counseling, but also too, it goes back when I said, getting that core group of people, or that core person, that's going to support you and give you that guidance.
that's a great point too. Just having that core group also, and I definitely agree. Just the energy you put out is the energy you attract to.
Yes.
Whoever you deal with is a reflection of you. You know, so if y'all sitting in the room and you with your person, and person is being also negative energy, that's who you attract. So that
Right.
be with that 1,000%. It's so true. Um,
Yeah.
my next question is pretty much, if you can go back in time, let's say maybe 1 year ago or 2 years ago, what you decided to do? What conversation would you have to your old self just to build your old self up?
So if I would have went back, you know, a year ago, to
Mhm.
have a conversation with myself, over a cigar and a nice little stiff drink, um, I would have said, you know what? You need to let pride go. You need to let pride go, and also, ask for help. And that's one of the things, that I discovered, about myself, is that I had to control things. If I couldn't control things, it's not working for me. But also too, I'm a very, prideful person. I'm going to continue, to work at it until it gets right. And one thing, that I learned out of therapy was that everything is not always going to be perfect or be all right. One of the drawbacks I had, coming up as a kid was that, I watched, a lot of TV. Saw like some of the TV shows, My Wife and Kids, The Cosby Show, and that mindset. I think because I don't want to say I came from a broken home, but I came from a home where, my parents weren't together, and that caused me to say, you know what, when I grow up, I'm going to have, the perfect family, you know, the house, white picket fence, the green lawn, all that. I'm going to have all that. It's going to be perfect. But then you sit there, you put all that pressure on you. When there's pressure, there's pride. And sometimes pride can be good, but also too, pride can be bad. Pride can tear you apart because you feel like, there's no one there that's going to be there for you, help you. Or even, you have to tell yourself, I need help, but once I get help, I have to accept the help. And that's a conversation that I wish I would have had, with myself. There's no such thing as a time machine. So we all have to live by our mistakes, but also too, we can't dwell on our mistakes. Each day, I just learned now too, each day we're given, a different, reset button each and every day. So each time, you open your eyes up in the morning, boom, that's a new reset button. You can't play the same game you played yesterday. So there's a new game that's being played today.
I agree with that. When you get up in the morning, there's always a reset. And me personally, like my house, we pray every single day,
Okay.
even if there are certain things looking negative. You know, you always pray for the good stuff. You
Yeah.
know, always pray for stuff we're blessed with. May not have this going, but this is going to happen. And for anyone who's listening, it's okay to have an honest conversation with God.
Yes.
Not having those, oh, have a great day. God, I feel like this. God, got to help me with this. God, I feel like this. My rent ain't being paid. Help me come. Just certain things. You can have an honest conversation with God. Talk to him.
Yes. And it's a funny thing you say that, Craig. Is that I had those conversations a lot. God, look at here, bro.
Yeah.
We got to talk.
Yeah.
It's none of those these and thous and no.
Yeah.
God, yo, man, we need to talk. Come here.
Yeah.
Let me pull your coattail. I know you know what's happened to me, but let me
uh,
tell you what's happened to me.
yeah.
How we gonna fix this?
Right. Agree. Just having conversations because a lot of times he's waiting for us to come just come towards.
Right.
A lot of times we try to do it on our own. He's like, here, I'm waiting for you.
Yep.
You know,
It's
yeah, that helped us a lot.
so it's funny when you were saying about, I mentioned the Bible a lot.
Hmm.
And throughout the course of my life, I've been having, Job moments and Jonah moments where, like with Jonah, I want you to go to Nineveh. Nah, dog. I heard about Nineveh, man. I'm not going there, man. I'm gonna go, I'm gonna go to Tarshish. I ain't got nothing to do with Nineveh. But no, you gonna go to Nineveh. Nah, man, I'm cool. I'm cool. Then, he got caught up in that well. He marinated for like 3 days and said, you know what? Yeah, I think I should have went to Nineveh. So that's a conversation, too, that we gotta have with God. Sometimes, we ask for an answer, he throws the answer in front of us, and we'll be like, nah, I don't want that. No, that's not, no, that's not the response, I want it. I asked you for, $1 million, but, but you gave me another bill. No, God, I asked you for $1 million, you know, but you gave me another bill. What is this? What is it for? So we have to learn how to take, what he gives us because he has a divine reason, behind that.
Yeah, yeah, the boundaries to protect us, even if I dream and vision. I'm not. I remember I was praying to God. I was like, whatever you want me to do, I'm gonna do it,
Mm-hmm.
even if it's uncomfortable. Even in my first episode, I'm like, it's uncomfortable. Now in episode 9, I'm like, okay, God, I see what you're doing. You're slowly walking in my purpose, walking in my guideline. There's a lot of things I'm talking to me is uncomfortable. I'm like, I was like, no, you got a voice. I
Yeah.
got you. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about what you ain't certified in. Don't worry about your equipment and all this. I got you. Don't worry about that. In life,
Mm-hmm.
all right, I'm gonna stop being hard headed.
Yep. That's the same conversation I had him, concerning, my Man You Got This campaign. When I started with my first YouTube episode, and now I'm up to 11. There was a point where I was recording every week, but then it got to a point, then I just stopped. I said, you know what? I'm not feeling this. And I'm looking at, nobody's watching this. Nobody, is viewing this. I'm not getting any likes. I'm not getting any type of feedback. Then this young cat pulled me. He said, you know what? It's not about the likes. He says it's all about the content. He said, a lot of people nowadays. He said they're not going to like. They're not going to share. There are some things they probably take and they'll just save it for themselves. So I started looking at that aspect. When I post a video, when I shoot a video, it's not scripted. It is something that come across my dome. I get up in the morning. I'll go run across the riverfront. Then whatever just comes to my mind, I just start posting. I talked about emotional availability, how we as men, we need to be available emotionally. That's what helps our relationships grow. We put a lot on women. I'm like, she crazy, man. Man, she just so doggone emotional. Yeah, bro. We're emotional too. We just don't want to portray it, get out there. It's like we have so much that's going on throughout the day. You got a bad day at work. When you come home, the first thing you don't want to hear is, "Well, there's something wrong, with the dishwasher," or Can you take a look at this bill that came in the mail today?" Sometimes we don't want to hear that. All you want to hear is, "Hey, how was your day?" "Well, I'll let you, unwind, and we'll take care of this." So, just what I'm saying is that we have to learn how to just learn how to release and just let go, and also just listen to the word of God. Sometimes we're not gonna like what He said, but He's telling us for a particular reason. Even though He's telling us no, that's a yes in the aspect.
That's true. It reminds me of this Sarah Jakes video. Hope I'm saying this right. And she was saying a lot of times God will tell us no, but we won't listen to that. We'll listen to the no. He said no, but I'm not finished my sentence. You know how you cut somebody off and they finish talking?
Yep.
It could be that.
Hmm.
I said, I want to do this. No, but you can listen to what I'm saying. Slow down and God will protect your vision. And I definitely agree with you as far as like being an entrepreneur and posting videos. And a lot of times we're about likes. Oh man, nobody looking at this. And it is like I'm learning myself. I can relate and just do it anyway.
Hmm.
Somebody saw that.
Yep.
I don't care if it's one of you. If you even zeros, somebody probably gonna scroll past it and probably forgot to say like. Somebody saw that.
Yep.
Just keep doing what you're doing and not doing it for I want to get 100 likes. No, there's a purpose behind this.
Yep.
There's a purpose behind what you're doing. Man, you got this. Somebody like, man, I love what you said. That saved my life. Even if it's one life, you see, like, you know what? That felt good. Just keep doing what
Hmm.
you're doing. Keep
Yep.
having that purpose. Doing it amazing.
Yep.
And that pretty much goes into my last question, pretty much. I always ask my guests pretty much because in the morning, you got to have that great start. You got to have that great chart, pretty much. Always ask my guests. This is my question to you, pretty much. Look in the mirror at yourself. You brushing your teeth, get yourself together. Look in the mirror. You look at yourself. What motivates you?
What motivates me is that I was given another day. I cannot take, for granted being saved. That day I was saved. Mind you, Craig, I do have PTSD flashback moments to that day. I do. Trust me. There's days I get up 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, you know, literally crying because I'm full of remorse as far as what happened. But each day, when I get up and I see that God has given me another day, that means that He has given me, another purpose. Each new day given is a new purpose for a better, opportunity. And I'm learning how to take the punches. Hey, you know what? I got hit, but I'm getting back up again. Jesus, took 40 lashes, and he still, got back up. Jesus, perished on the cross, but in 3 days he got back up.
Mm.
And so what I'm trying to say is that each morning means you got back up. So when you lay down, you're releasing that stress and worry you had from that day. When you get up, it's a brand new day, a brand new start. And sometimes, man, Greg, man, we take that for granted. We really do. Because there are some people right here, right now, they're taking their very last breath.
Yeah.
They're taking their very last breath. It's funny. Um, I had posted, I was being kind of humorous, is that, and I said that one moment, I died, for a minute. Um, Hell didn't want me, and heaven wasn't ready for me yet. So that means, I got a purpose. And that's how I'm living, man. I'm living each life, as a purpose-driven life.
Statement. Powerful story. I definitely enjoyed talking with you. Your story is powerful. Your story is going to bless so many people. Before we close, feel free to tell the audience where to find you at and what you got going on one more time. So,
Okay. So like I said, you can find me under Man You Got This on Facebook groups. I'm looking forward to, adding people on. Like I said, it's not a counseling group. It's basically a group where men can, vent their, frustrations or just look at things. So normally, I post, positive messages, but also too, I'll post some messages that will hit you right in the gut. Because sometimes, we need those messages, that's gonna hit you in the gut.
yeah.
Like I said, man, you got this on Facebook. There's man, you got this on Instagram, or people call it, IG. And also, man, you got this under YouTube. I have about 11 videos that's out there where I talk about, being vulnerable as a man. I talk about why I started Man You Got This. I talk about, Kobe, how Kobe impacted, men, and so on and so forth. So like I said, whatever comes up to my mind, I go out there and speak it. Like I said, I'm not looking for any likes. I'm not looking for any monetary compensation. All I wanted to do is, like you said, Craig, man, all I want to do is just tell my story and let a man know, hey, you know what? You're not doing this, alone. And that's what we do. We think we're doing things alone, and we're not.
That's so true. And everything you're saying, before we wrap it up, let me tell any man that's listening to this podcast or looking at the YouTube version and you're visually seeing what we've seeing this, let me just say
Yeah.
that you're not alone. Any man who's going through depression and feel like you're worthless, you are not alone. Any man who's looking in the mirror, having you're crying, got your eyes balled out and everything, it's okay to be not okay.
Yeah.
What is not okay for you to accept defeat? What is not okay for you to accept depression? What is not okay for you to accept negativity? And the world does need you. The world needs you. Somebody needs you. Somebody loves you. Give yourself the greatest love in the world because you never know. One day you can be telling your story and extending the hand back and saving a life. You are worth it. You are a king. Walk with your head up high. Thank you so much.